Good morning, America. I'm Prosperity from Income Prosperity on YouTube channel. Today, I am interviewing FBM, who is here to talk to us about circumstances that are going on here in Chicago. And we'd like for you all to tune in and participate and learn some things from us as to what our experiences are. Good morning, FBM. How are you doing today?
Very good. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for asking. So I'd like for you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am 37 years old. I am predominantly from the Rogers Park area. Pretty much grew up in a Indian dominant community in my area. A lot of my friends were not from here. They don't look like me. So I have like this diversity of culture that's involved in my life. Foster care, nine different foster homes. My first foster mother was Miss Gloria Jean Johnson. Lived on 63rd and Green. I went to an all-black school. A lot of my friends are all African American, Latino, Indian. I don't have a lot of friends that kind of look like me, so I have this culture background or whatever of people that are from all over the place that have been friends in my camp, from forever. So seeing what's going on here is the people themselves is not abnormal to me. It's the circumstances that's abnormal to me. I was born and raised on the north side of Chicago. I went off to the military. I served in the military, OIF 07-09. I got deployed to Iraq. Fob Falcons, where we spend most of our time there. I got injured overseas, tore my ACL, my MCL, came back, started gaining a bunch of weight and stuff, lost a lot of the weight, still losing weight. I'm doing better, and I come from a technical background of automotive excellence, like training through manufacturers and stuff, and now I'm on the independent side. So that's kind of my life in a nutshell.
Sounds like an interesting life.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. Tell us a little bit more about what are your passions?
I would say my main focus in life is I like to try to make an impact on other people. Okay. I feel like I'm complete whenever I'm helping other people grow. And if I can help other people learn things, if I can show them things, if I can teach them things, it makes me feel complete as a person, and I'm very passionate about it.
Okay. And why do you believe so many are loving your podcast?
Probably just because of how raw I am. I'm just very, what do they call it, forthright. If it's in my head, it comes out of my mouth. Sometimes it's a fault, but a lot of people like that. The fact that they don't have to guess what I'm thinking. They know. They know that this is what I got. This is what I'm dealing with. This is the type of person he is. That's how his podcast is going to be.
Okay. And also, I want to ask you about what puts a smile on your face?
Mainly my family, but the biggest part is, like I said, I'm a people pleaser. And if I see people that I can help, that I can give to, in a sense, there's always a limit. That's what really makes me happy. My family and helping people are the main things.
All right. That sounds really great. And then based on your concerns and invasions of Chicago, give us a little bit more insight about what would you like to see happen?
Accountability. There was a lot of stuff that happened here, and that the people didn't have a choice on, with financials, making it okay for people to move in, bringing people from other leading people to believe that it was okay to just walk into a country and allow them to just receive this funding and care without any of the community input at all. Just moved it. There has to be some accountability for that. And there has to be some answer for how are we supposed to sustain this. What do we do next when it all falls apart? What are the answers? Because we cannot continue to sustain it.
Okay. And let's talk about how can we get Chicago involved with this?
We need more people to be present at the town hall meetings. We need more people to be present in their community meetings and stuff, to voice how they feel and not be quiet. The more people are quiet, the more people that don't have a voice, the more people that don't show up, the higher the percent and opportunity or that's for other people to walk all over you. And they're going to do it. and they're going to keep making decisions for you. If you're not present and you're not being heard and you're not causing a commotion because you're displeased about what's going on, nothing is going to get done. And you're just going to be another number. That's it.
Good. Well, thank you. So now I have some other questions for you. As we have been learning that there's an executive order that this mayor has written for the immigrants and refugees. Let's talk about that. Let's get some insight from you on your thoughts on that.
So this executive order is 2023-16. The order was sworn in 5/15/23, and it's ironic that it was sworn in 5/15/23 because that's the very same day that Mayor Johnson was sworn in. So what does that tell you? This was already being propagated before Mr. Johnson became the mayor. This was already being set up, and then when he became mayor, quick signature, everything's put into effect, and the backdoor buddy system is taken care of the right way to them, but the wrong way to us. We had no say-so in this. So this is a executive order on migrant, immigrant, and refugee rights. And just some key points in here. One of the points in here, whereas Chicago became one of the first sanctuary cities in the country July 18, 1982, when Wellington Avenue Church congregation voted to become just the second church in the U.S. to provide a safe haven for Central Americans fleeing political oppression and violence. And also, whereas Mayor Harold Washington signed an executive order March 7, 1985, halting city agencies, cooperation with federal immigration authorities, and the ongoing crisis of arriving asylum seekers and migrants into the city of Chicago has illuminated the immense challenges that the city must face and overcome in order to provide support and services to our new arrivals. Other key points. To meet the needs of newly arrived community members, it is necessary to coordinate the city's existing resources through an executive department within the mayor's office. In supporting new arrivals, the city of Chicago must reckon with our existing systemic inequities that many communities already face related to housing, safety, and the supportive services, particularly black and undocumented communities. The black immigrant population in Chicago has been growing steadily in the last few years, reflecting a nationwide trend, with the foreign-born African community growing by more than 50% between 2005 and 2017. Black immigrants tend to earn low wages compared to other similarly trained immigrants or native workers. Whereas addressing these long-standing issues will require meaningful and proactive community engagement and support. Whereas the Chicago Office of New Americans must provide significant direction, services, and resources for both newly arrived community members, along with the existing immigrant communities, including but not limited to DACA recipients, undocumented students, and people applying for citizenship. And whereas the role of the Office of New Americans can be elevated and expanded further to allow it to better serve communities across Chicago. The City of Chicago finds it necessary and appropriate to create a position within the Executive Department to lead the City of Chicago's effort to support newly arrived community members, immigrants, refugees, migrants, undocumented community members, DACA recipients, people applying for citizenship, and others. Now therefore, in the bottom down here it states that the above whereas clauses are incorporated into and made integral part of this order. The deputy, in section 3 it says the deputy mayor for immigrant, migrant, and refugee rights is responsible for coordination and communication between all applicable city departments and officials related to the city's efforts to support newly arrived community members, immigrants, refugees, migrants, undocumented community members, DACA recipients, and people applying for citizenship. All city department heads are directly are directed. So this is where we need to pay attention. All city department heads are directed to undertake whatever efforts are feasible pursuant to their powers and duties, and to direct their employees accordingly to work with the deputy mayor for immigrant, migrant, and refugee rights consistent with the purposes of this order. All. No option. Nobody has a say-so. You are told that you are going to do this, and this is how you're going to respond. And that's it. An executive order stating that you're going to do what we say, or else there's going to be problems, basically. This order will take effect upon its execution and filing with the city clerk. I find it pretty interesting that we had no say-so in this at all. And there's this executive order drawn up that we're supposed to adhere to, our city officials are supposed to adhere to, and we had no say-so in any of this. But they took it upon themselves to speak on our behalf because they know what's best for us, and undermine us, do this behind our back, and now we have to, they're basically laughing in our face telling us, this is what you have to deal with, and if you don't like it, well, move on. It's not our problem. And this is where we're at.
And this is what I like to add to as well, is that this mayor said in an interview just yesterday that we are a welcoming city and we will remain a sanctuary city. So many of us had gone down to City Hall because we're expecting to be able to have these aldermen on board with us. And these aldermen have turned their back on us. They did not allow them to get the vote in to allow us to say whether we want this to be a sanctuary city or not. So as you just heard, this executive order was already designed and in place before he even got sworn in. It's just the day of him being sworn in that it was signed and entered, and without us having a voice. So I see that as a big problem.
Oh yeah.
And we need to make a change about this.
Yeah.
We cannot stand by and watch our city go down and be trampled on. Our tax dollars to go out to people who have not contributed to the system. We need to make our voices heard. And we need you all to stand up with us. We can't have anyone sitting dormant on this. Chicago is on a move, and we need to make sure that Chicago does what is right for Chicago. We don't need someone coming in from Elgin, Illinois, who is not a native to Chicago, and say these are the Chicago values. These are not Chicago values. He doesn't know what Chicago values are. Our values are to help others. Our values basically are for those who have come through the doors legally. The illegals have trampled over those who are trying to have citizenship, and that has been around for many years, trying to get work permits and can't even get work permits. What about our citizens that have been here over the centuries and decades who are trying to have housing, food, our veterans who are homeless? And we are talking to a veteran here today. And thank God he's not homeless. But what about your brothers and sisters out here that are?
You know, it's sad because a lot of them, they cry out for help. They could really use the assistance. A lot of them take their own lives because they don't have assistance. A lot of them freeze on these streets. They die on these streets because they're not offered the same options that newly arriving people are.
Exactly.
They don't have the same health care. They don't have the same furniture stipends and income stipends and assistance with automobiles. And you know, a lot of these new people that we see coming in here recently, they've only been here a month, and they've already got jobs. They're already in houses. They already got cars. They got brand new clothes and stuff. And it's like the people we have on the streets, the veterans and homeless people on the streets, they don't even come close to any of that. They don't have any of those options. It's sickening because these are my brothers and sisters out here, and this is how they're being treated.
Exactly. And that is sad. That is very sad. So we like for you all to write us, contact us, and let us know your feelings on it. We have an email address that we can be reached at, which is newchicago2024 yahoo.com. That's New Chicago 2024 at yahoo.com. We'll also put a link in on the YouTube channel so that you can reach out and connect to us that way as well. We really thank you for today. You have been such a pleasure. And also listening to the wisdom, your background, and all that you've experienced, it's been a great joy. And we thank you again for joining today.
Thank you.
You drop it off in there?